We are investigating the recent arrest of a Louisville woman charged with a man's murder in a Louisville hotel. We've learned that she's been arrested more than 45 times in the last decade and spent very little time in jail. WHS 1119's Bobby McSwine is here. And Bobby, you've been learning where the system failed in all this.
Exactly right, Doug. A former assistant Jefferson County attorney, Carl Price, who is now a defense attorney, went through a nearly 50-page summary with me and says this is all a massive failure of the criminal justice system. According to court documents, Chelynda Howlett has a lengthy criminal history prior to the recent murder arrest and has spent very little time in jail.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 probation violations.
And there's more in 28-year-old Chelynda Howlett's lengthy criminal history, dating back to when she was just 18 years old.
When you see that as someone at 18, what that means is that their criminal behavior will progress.
Former Jefferson County prosecutor Carl Price says he's seen it time and time again.
And a lot of times it does progress to a lot more violence, particularly and unfortunately sometimes a murder.
And it did. On October 2nd, 2021, 40-year-old Pancho Young was found dead inside a room at the In-Town Suites on Preston Highway. Tuesday, Howlett arraigned on the murder. She's been arrested 20 times since 2015 and has 19 charges dating before that. The charges range from shoplifting and trespassing to domestic violence and assault. Despite that, Howlett spent very little time in jail for these charges, according to court records. When she was sentenced for a year in jail, it was suspended. She spent much of that time on home incarceration.
I think that the system saw this coming. When you have someone who has been charged with possessing a firearm because they're a convicted felon and those charges are dismissed, that becomes a problem.
Price says not only did the system fail the murder victim, but Howlett as well.
Because those resources that were available, nobody really gave her the opportunity or really put down a heavy hand or forced her to take advantage of those resources.
So, Bobby, you've been looking at her history here. How many current charges are pending right now in this case?
Well, Doug, Howlett currently has 6 different charges and cases working through the judicial system. She is now in Metro Corrections. Her preliminary hearing for the murder of Pancho Young is December 14th.